Well, part of the reason why I'm saying Martin O'Neill would deserve so much, acclaim if he pulls this off is, and I don't want to be unkind, but Ryan, you said it a minute ago about Cvancara. Look, that was just evidence of I do think it was one of the worst striking displays I can remember. Again, I feel really bad saying that, but it was just so bad, and it was just evidence of what Celtic are working with this season, what Martin O'Neill has to use. And Iheanacho comes on, shows that he can still do it. But the problem is, you can't rely on him for any length of time. After that, you would go, right, he's the striker. But would you really start him? I think his hamstring's probably going to go again. I mean, what do you do if you're Martin O'Neill? People keep talking about this tombola. I don't know what I would do if I was in his shoes. Who would you start up front? I have no idea.
I mean, I asked that question to Martin O'Neill yesterday. I said, "Do you know what your best team is?" And he said, "No." He doesn't know. So that kind of sums up where Celtic are at the minute. Look, I don't want to hammer the big guy. I don't think it was through the lack of effort up front. He did tussle.
That's a good point, Ryan. He definitely put himself about, and he's trying. I'm not questioning his integrity or whatever, but it just
so he did. Yeah. He does offer a kind of focal point up front. He's said numerous times he's not a target man, yet Celtic continue to launch a ball high up in the air for him to knock down or bounce off him for run-running players. So perhaps Celtic aren't quite playing to his strengths either. But look, seeing you through one-on-one multiple times, you need to take your chances. I mean, that one he rattled the post. That was. I mean, the Celtic fans behind the goal couldn't believe it. They were getting ready to celebrate. I think even Big Dan was getting ready to wheel away in celebration as well. And Dundee get off the hook, and then that heavy touch just after the second half as well. When Benjamin Negrin plays him through, you're just expecting him to take the ball past the keeper and roll it in the back of the net. But again, that heavy touch, it just got away from him. And it just wasn't his day. It hasn't really been his season at Celtic or half a season at Celtic. And look, it kind of tells you where Celtic are at, where we're sitting here on April the 6th, and Johnny Kenny is still Celtic's top goal scoring striker. It's absolutely crazy. Quite simply, the likes of Cvancara and Adamu have come in. They've not contributed anywhere near enough. And that's Celtic's biggest problem. Sky had that graphic yesterday saying that the cracking start that the Celtic hit about 26 times this season, 11 more than Hearts. So the problems are there for all to see. They've been there for the best part of 18 months. They've got no conviction up front, no killer instinct. They've not got enough quality up front. If it's not Benjamin Negrin, who's still sitting in 19 goals despite his celebration yesterday, it's Yang that gets the credit for that one. If it's not for Benjamin Negrin, you really wonder where Celtic to be at this stage in the season. You wonder where the goals are coming. After Negrin, it's the next highest goal scorer is Yang with 9. So there's only one player with double figures this season. And as I said, Iheanacho, his first goal since October. Yes, he's been injured, but it's just something not good enough. And that's got to be the priority in the summer. But look, there's 6 games to go in the league, and I think Martin O'Neill, if Iheanacho, his performance yesterday, he's made an impact from the bench. I think he's speaking to him as well after the game, which you'll be able to read in tomorrow's paper and online later on today as well. He's convinced that he's the man that can fire. Iheanacho's convinced he's the man that can fire Celtic to the title. He's obviously got great pedigree at Manchester City, but obviously his career's kind of gone off track in recent years. But he is a quality player. When he does play, you can see that quality shining through at times. His touch, his link-up play, he is really clever with the ball. I think he's just fitness is the big concern at the minute. Is he just an impact player from the bench, or can he make an impact from the first whistle? That's the biggest question mark. So I wouldn't be surprised if Iheanacho starts now against St Mirren on Saturday. I think Martin O'Neill really needs to find a team that he can rely upon and stick with it, particularly in the forward areas. I was surprised that Seb Teneke was an unused sub yesterday. He's changed the game from the bench multiple times this season, but he was left on the bench, which was a bit of a surprise. Same with Rio Hatate as well, who's been a bit of a difference maker since he's kind of come back into form, come back into contention. So those two guys were unused. You've got Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I thought he was decent in the first half, some promising. He looked promising at times. He worked the ball well, provided a wee bit of energy. He was unlucky with a couple of efforts on goal as well. But in the second half, he faded away again. So, as I say, it just comes down to this 90-minute issue, and that's what will be driving Martin Neil mad at the minute. He needs guys that he can hang his hat on, and I don't think there's too many in this team at the minute.
This is the actual dilemma, though. I mean, in theory, you think you start them, you get ahead, and that gives you a foothold in the game. But if you don't go ahead, I mean, he started at Tannadice, and I thought he'd done okay at times at Tannadice, despite weirdly Celtic played through the middle on a part that was like but he was getting the ball to feet, and anything they did create was through him. He had a chance, but then after 50 minutes, he wasn't worth a penny. So I think the fear would be, well, if he starts the game and they don't get a breakthrough, who do they bring on that's got they can rely on to do anything? Because Cvancara's not cutting it. Adam is now gone at the picture. You get Dyson Maeda, who in front of goal this season, he's been two left feet. So it's a dilemma. It's a big dilemma for Celtic because Iheanacho can't do 90 minutes. It's a shame. I mean, listen, you can see he's a quality player. I mean, you see that as a player. Great touch, all that stuff. You can see that like 3 or 4 years ago, he would be great in that role. Maybe part of a two. You can drop deep, spin, pass a ball. Like you say, but it takes about 40 feet now, 40 yards from goal. He's meant to pull it in, bring in some players, get it wide, whatever, and get in the box. He can't get in the box. Mm-hmm. So you play it completely and let him stay in the box. Just let him say, right, that 6-yard box, just plant your backside there and don't go anywhere because you're the only guy who can put the ball in the back of your net. Because Cvanccara certainly isn't the guy who can put the ball in the back of your net. But again, you can't battle the guy because he's not got a track record for doing it. I mean, you can't sign the guy you think this is the guy who will deliver the 15 goals that the team needs to win the league. This is back in January. He's not scored 15 goals in 5 years. I mean, he's 3-23 this season. Last year was 2-32. His first season at Gladbach was 6-28, but he scored half of them or 4 of them in the first 6 games, including German Cup ties. So then you go back to when he was in Prague when he started. It's a good season. I think he gets 60 or 19 goals in Prague, but that's 5 years ago. And he doesn't. He's a goal scorer. You're saying the guy to be the main man who hasn't got a record of being that kind of guy, so it's a bit harsh on him. Unfortunately, to me, it doesn't look like an upgrade in Johnny Kenny. We talk about the performances of a striker. I mean, Tannadice with Johnny Kenny, the chance he missed that night, that was similar to Cvanccara at Dundee there. Just a chance that had to be in the back of the net. I mean, it just shows you that it hit the post 26 times. So you could literally put an inanimate object in the box. It would have probably more shots in goal than a Celtic striker. I remember working out years ago. I was covering Aberdeen up north. It was I'm not mentioning his name because it's not really fair. I think he's averaging about 7 goals a season for about 15 seasons. I remember looking at this. As many goals were scored in off the post, and it was more per season than it was he would score. So literally just stand in the box. There's more chance of scoring a goal because they just get in the way of it. A stationary object in the way would cause more goals. So I think he's not. Listen, there's no chance he's going to be around next season. No, because he can't. I mean, the top was at £6-7 million. Yeah. Oh, sorry, like I mean, that's a nice big chat. I mean, listen, I think he's got. I mean, chances he had on Sunday for a guy at his level, it's unforgivable not putting in the back in it. And you can talk about confidence and all the rest of it, and lack of game time or whatever you want. But no, I'm sorry, you've got to put it in the back of the net. You've got to. But it's restored Celtic season. I mean, look at the chances they missed all season. I mean, you're telling me that Celtic shouldn't have another 10, 12 points based on just. I mean, Celtic. I mean, I know as you know, we're very trendy hipsters in this programme. I mean, Celtic are top of the XG chances created league, so that should translate to more goals and more wins. But it hasn't, because Celtic's front line has been absolutely dreadful this season. I mean, literally a generationally bad front line this season. The man Big Tam is firmly part of that now.
Well, our colleague Craig Swan at the Record a couple of weeks ago with Chris Sutton, Mick, if you remember, he said, look, I've been in this 30 years and I went back in my head thinking all the Celtic strikers, all the way back to Tommy Burns, Cadet, Van Hooijdonk, and Wim Jansen, obviously, Larson, O'Neill with Sutton. I mean, they're literally this group of strikers is the worst for a generation. It's comfortable. It's not even close. In my mind, you look at Ronnie Dyler's team. I mean, you go back to Colin Kazim Richards and Carlton Cole and stuff like that. I would take them ahead of us.
Lee Griffiths got 40 goals a season.
Take the words out of my mouth. Take the words out of my mouth, mate. Yeah.
Lou McCarry season when you had Wayne Biggins up front.